that you are having trouble with the route questions. So I know I posted an example, but sometimes hearing somebody talk it through is helpful. So here we go. So the first question is asking for you to break up the hours, your total hours, into 10 hours per day. And so if you did that, how many days would it be? So that's a proportion, right? I want to do 10 hours each day, so one day. How many days is your trip? So I'm going to refer to so 107 hours was my trip, right? So if 107 hours is my trip and I want it to be 10 hours, right? I don't know how many days this is going to take me, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But I do know that I want to only drive 10 hours in one day. So if I only want to drive 10 hours in one day, how many days in 107 hours, right? So I do that math, right? I cross multiply 107 times 1, and I divide by that last number, 10. If I do that math, it turns out that my trip is 10.7, right? So here's all the math right here. Okay, so 10.7. But I can't drive, if I'm into the 10 days and then point 0.7 into the next day, I'm in the 11th day. So that is really 11 days. Cool, so that's how you do that's how you do the first one. The second one's kind of the same thing. And so here I was trying to figure out how many days for my hours, and now I want to go for 31 days. So if I want to know how many days my trip would, or how many hours I would have to drive if I wanted my trip to be 31 days. Does that make sense? So I want to go, so instead of not knowing how many days, I know how many days. I know it's 31 days. What I don't know is how many hours a day I would be driving, right? So every day, how many hours would I drive? So again, I cross multiply, right? 107 times 1, and I divide that by 31, right? And so that is 3.45. Well, that's like 3.45 hours. I want to know how many minutes that is. And so how to do that in minutes, right? I know that this is 3 hours. I don't care about that. What I care about is how many minutes is 0.45 of an hour. So I just do 0.45 times 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour. And so if I do that, it ends up being 27 minutes. That's just an easy math problem. If you don't want to figure that out, it's no big deal. But this is really 3 hours and 27 minutes. And again, I just did 0.45 times 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and that equals 27. That's it. If you just want to tell me this, 3.45 hours, then that's fine. And then this is just explaining if it fits your criteria, yes or no. I hope this helped. These are just easy proportions, and so you could, follow my example. The only thing that would change is your amount of hours, right? Everything else in this proportion would be the same, just whatever your hours is. Same thing up here, right? Your hours would be different. But it is 10 hours in one day for everybody. So just this one little piece of information will change on yours. All right, I hope this helped. Good luck.